Welcome back to a new video, my friend. Today we're going to talk about lesson number 1 of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I read as I told you in the last video. And again, to sum a few things up, the majority part of this book is the mindset. So it really comes down to your mindset, and if you're able to do the necessary changes, you will see the results. Now, the lesson number 1 is called "The rich don't work for money," and I asked you to think about this phrase at the end of the last video. The rich don't work for money. I mean, let's just jump in and see what Mr. Kiyosaki has told us. So the first point that I noted down is do something instead of talking and dreaming of being rich. I mean, that is an obvious point, I think. Being active and doing something instead of just dreaming. It should be obvious, right? But it still needs to be said. And with that comes along opportunities, meaning that opportunities come and go, but you have to be able to know when to make quick decisions and when not. So that's like a big part of it. And if you realize that you or your mindset is the problem, then you can change yourself. Learn something and grow wiser. Because most people want everyone else in the world to change but themselves. It's easier to change yourself than everyone else. I mean, it's basically impossible, right? So that's the point. We have to focus on ourselves. We have to look, okay, where are the problems? Where are the mental barriers? And then we have to work on them and change those things. So the rich dad explained this over and over, and the lesson number 1, the poor and the middle class work for money, the rich have money work for them. Because true learning takes energy, passion, and a burning desire. Anger is a part of that formula, because passion is anger and love combined. When it comes to money, most people want to play it safe and feel secure. So passion does not direct them, fear does. And that's actually kind of easier, because it's easier to learn to work for money, especially if fear is your primary emotion when the subject of money is discussed. Because fear is what keeps most people working at their job. The fear of not paying the bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, and the fear of starting over. And that's the price of studying to learn a profession or a trade, and then working for money. Most people become a slave to money and then get angry at the boss. So the rich dad understood that every person has a weak and needy part of their soul that can be bought. And he knew that every individual has also a part of their life, of their being, that was resilient and could never be bought. It was only a question of which one was stronger. So most people have a price, and they have a price because of human emotions, fear and greed. First, the fear of being without money motivates us to work hard. And then once we get that paycheck, our greed or desire starts us thinking about all the new things we can buy with it. The pattern is then set. So they get up, go to work, hoping that the paycheck will kill that fear gnawing on their soul, that money is running their lives, and they refuse to tell the truth about that. Money is in control of the emotion and of the whole being. That's how it works on most people. It sounds harsh, but I've observed the same. So, and if you realistically think about it, it's just the way it is for the most people. So, he goes on, it's perfectly normal to desire something better, prettier, more fun or exciting. So people also work for money because of desire. They desire money for the joy they think it can buy. We talked about this in the longer video I made about the relation between money and happiness, right? But the joy that money brings is often short-lived, and they soon need more money for more joy, more pleasure, more comfort, etc. So they keep working, thinking money will soothe everything, and that are troubled by fear and desire. But money cannot do that. Money cannot get rid of those emotions, because emotions are what make us human, right? The word emotion stands for energy in motion. Be truthful about your emotions and use your mind and emotions in your favor, not against yourself. That means if you don't handle fear and desire and you get rich, you'll only be a highly paid slave. Let that sink in. If you don't handle fear and desire, you get rich and you'll only be a highly paid slave. Now, what do we do then? So the key is to not give in into our emotions, because we will always have emotions of fear and greed. From here on, it is important for us to use those emotions to our advantage, and for the long term to not let our emotions control the thinking. So most people use fear and greed against themselves. That's the start of ignorance. Most people live their lives chasing paychecks, pay raises, and job security because of the emotions of desire and fear, not really questioning where those emotion-driven thoughts are leading them. It's just, yeah, that's a very nice example. I really like this one. It's just like the picture of a donkey dragging a cart with its owner dangling a carrot just in front of its nose. The donkey's owner may be going where he wants to, but the donkey is chasing an illusion. Tomorrow there will only be another carrot for the donkey. And money is like that carrot. It's an illusion. If the donkey could see the whole picture, it might rethink its choice to chase the carrot. And now let us apply that to our life. If we just have the money in front of us, like the donkey with the carrot, and we just continue to see that carrot, we just chase the carrot, right? But we do not got the whole picture that we are basically being work for someone else's gain. So let us learn to use our emotions to think and not think with our emotions. Again, learn to use your emotions to think and not think with your emotions. It might sound complicated, I know, and it will definitely tough to change that in our minds, but once we did it, it will be, I think, liberating. So, confronting fear, weaknesses, and neediness by choosing our own thoughts is the way out. A job is only a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Most people have only one problem in mind, and it's short-term. It's the bills at the end of the month, the money. So the money controls their lives, or whether the fear and ignorance about money controls it. So they do exactly as the parents did. They get up every day and go for work, meet their boss, hi boss, and are not taking time to ask the question, is there another way? The emotions control their thinking and not their heads. So what happened then was with Robert and Mike, 9 years old, they started to work for Mike's father. And at one point he said, okay, I'm not going to pay you anymore, but you still work for me. And then at one point they just became furious. And here's what he says about this. By not getting paid for our work at the store, we were forced to use our imaginations to identify an opportunity to make money. By starting our own business, we were in control of our finances and not dependent on an employer. The best part was that their business, or business generated money for them, even when they weren't physical there. Our money worked for us. Think about this situation. So Mike's father put them into a situation, okay, you do work, but you do not get money for it. They said, okay, that's unfair. They started to think, how can I make money? And what they did is they gathered like comic books, which are not used anymore, and they basically opened a comic book library themselves at someone's home, and then they asked Mike's sister to do the secretary stuff and so on. So that's what he says by we were making money without being physically there. And that is where we have to go. So we need to use our mind. We need to use all of our creativity to come up with an effective way to generate money, to make money, in the best case scenario without us even being physically there. Nowadays, there are so many opportunities which we just have to find and follow, because we are living in such a fast-paced world. If we do not catch up, no, let's say like this, if there's a new thing coming out, let's say with all this artificial intelligence stuff, there are people already making tons of euros a month just by using AI stuff. And that's the thing what I learned from this chapter, from this lesson. We need to use our creativity to find new ways, or not even new ways, but effective ways to make money. But to do so, we need to confront our fear and our greed. We need to control it. We need to control our minds. And I think that is the most difficult part of this. So, yeah, again, to sum it up, what did we learn? So the most important thing is the mentality. The rich don't work for money, the money works for them. Why? Because they make a business which makes them money. And the most people are controlled by greed and fear. Fear because they need to pay their bills, and greed because they want more shiny things. If we control those two emotions, as I said, I think that is what is going to help us go forward. So, lesson number 2 will be why teach financial literacy. That's the name of lesson number 2. I hope you could also take some points for you. I hope you could learn something from those points that we just discussed. I definitely learned something. And yeah, in the next video we will consider lesson number 2. And with that being said, my friend, I hope you have a very nice day and see you next time.